Hello everybody! This past week has been a little bit weird for me in the sense that I've been working on a moderately large project, and I've been working very hard on it in the manual labor sense. I got blisters all over my hands, and I had a little bit of what seemed like heat exhaustion yesterday, so I was very weak all day. But what made it unusual is that I did all this work and it's not going to result in a video. So I don't know how to feel about that. It feels like I keep wanting to compare it to if I had a normal job, taking a week of vacation to remodel a bathroom or something. I'm not getting paid for it, but I'm certainly doing a lot of work. And that's kind of what it feels like, but also kind of doesn't feel like that because I'm self-employed as a YouTuber. So the whole work-home divide is a real fuzzy line, so it also doesn't feel like that at the same time. By the way, if I haven't mentioned it before, I'm the only income earner in the house. The wife, she's unemployed. The child is also unemployed, obviously, because he's 5. And he's 5 now, by the way. So I have no sense of what day it is at any point in time. Not that I'm complaining. It's a great problem to have. It's a great life to have. And I thank you all for allowing this to be possible. I can do basically what I want on a daily basis, and I'm still earning income. I'm not getting rich, but I have so much freedom. It's fantastic. So anyway, I thought I would chime in, make this quick little conversational video, and tell you what I've been working on in the past week. And then after I tell you about that, spoiler alert, has to do with chickens. And after I tell you about what I've been working on in the past week, I'll discuss what I have planned for the near future. I have some rough ideas what I have planned for the near future, honestly, but the next project I have nailed down. I know exactly what I'm going to work on because I stopped working on it so I could do the thing that I've been doing over the past week. Let's just take you outside so I can show you what I've been doing over the past week. Chickens! We had been letting the chickens just roam around the yard, free-ranging during the day. We'd let them out of the run in the morning, they just roam around the yard all day, and then we lock them up at night. But that ended because last week one of them got picked off. This is the scene of crime here. It was one of our Polish crested, the chickens with the big floofy heads. You'll probably see it later when I take footage of the pen. Now we thought it might be a hawk that picked it off because they got big floofy heads. They can't really see anywhere but basically straight down or straight in front of them because of that. So it seemed reasonable that a hawk swooped down from above where they couldn't see it and picked up our Polish crested. So in light of this information, we locked the chickens up in the run for the next day. We didn't let them roam around the yard, but they were squawking the whole time, and they seemed unhappy to be cooped up all day. Literally cooped up, because they were in a chicken coop. Is that where that phrase came from? Anyway, so the next day, we let them out, and then another one got picked off. Within like 3 hours of being out, we were outside here with the chickens, doing stuff outside, watching them, and then something came and got another chicken. And this time, the first chicken we were kind of upset about, but that chicken did not have the best personality. It was a Polish crested, and they're not very good at laying eggs. In fact, they didn't lay at all. And their best trait was being shouty, screamy, and annoying birds. But this was our favorite bird. This was the one we called Burb. This is the scene of crime here. There's still all kinds of feathers around. This is the one we called Burb. This is the one where if you leaned over, it would hop up on your shoulder like it was some sort of giant ugly parrot. It was our favorite bird. It would actually come to you when you called it. So we were extremely upset about this. So after this happened, we locked the chickens up. And it was very clear that it was not a hawk that got this one because there's a feather pile here, and there's a feather pile over there, and there's another one, and there's a trail of feathers that goes all the way into the woods, and I followed the trail of feathers into the woods about 300 feet before I just gave up and just decided I was not going to find the body of this chicken. So our best guess is maybe a bobcat got it. We don't know. It was in the middle of the day. It was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon after we had just gone inside for lunch, and something was brazen enough to come into our yard after seeing people walking around and pick off a chicken. Our favorite one, nonetheless. So we locked up the chickens after that for good this time. We're not going to let them free range around the yard unless we are out here observing every second of it. So what I've been working on, since this happened a week ago, I've been putting up this fence here. It's been quite a bit of work. Now the chickens have a safe-ish, we don't expect it to keep all the predators out permanently, but they have a safe-ish area to play in and roam around in and forage in during the day. And that's what I've been working on. That's the thing that I've been working on the past week that seems to have given me some sort of heat exhaustion. The hardest part by far was driving in these posts. I used one of those post drivers. I'm going to show it to you in a minute. But just, my hands were covered in blisters after that. Then I had to put in the fence, and I didn't want to use Roundup to kill the weeds around the fence area, so I tried flame weeding for the first time, basically just taking a torch and killing the weeds. I didn't want the chickens eating Roundup. Yeah, so that's what I've been working on. Also, I had to do a lot of brush cutting because this area was all sorts of grown up. So I got a brush cutter attachment for my weed eater. I'll show that to you in a second. I got a brush cutter attachment for my weed eater, and I went to town on this area, and it wasn't a ton of work. I mean, it was, but it was also extremely hot. The day I picked to do the majority of this work, the high was only 84 degrees, but the day after that, it was like 96 degrees with a heat index of, I don't know, the surface of the sun. And today it's also extremely hot and the humidity is extremely high. So I had to get a lot of this work done in one day to avoid super heat exhaustion. And then yesterday I was just done. Another security measure we've taken is we got this guy a couple days ago. We got a rooster. The hope there is that he'll make noise if something tries to attack the hens. We don't expect him to be foolproof. In fact, he's kind of timid, and one of the other birds, this little girl here, scares him. So that's whatever. But he's a friendly rooster, and that's why we were able to get a full-grown rooster, because there was another farm that had some chickens, and they rose him from a chick, and they didn't want to turn him to chicken dinner because he was nice, but they had too many roosters, so they gave him away, and we got a free rooster. He's a good boy. We've already integrated him into the other chickens, and it's only been a couple days. So that's another security feature we got, aside from the fence. By the way, have you seen the underdone video about making this chicken coop? I was quite proud of it. So go watch that now if you haven't seen that. I've done a lot of work so far in the fence enclosure, but I'm not quite done yet. These are the two doors. This one, this big one here, is going to be the door to get into the fence enclosure. It's going to go between the chicken run and the shop building. I already got the outside door frame mounted up that this is going to be hinged onto. I just applied another coat of black paint onto it, and that little one over there is going to be the little door that goes from the chicken run to the chicken fence for the chickens to go through. And lastly, oh wait, no, one more thing. This is the brush cutter attachment I was talking about right here. It's just a 3-bladed metal blade, and I modified it slightly because I figured it would help, and I think it did, but honestly, I didn't try this blade before I made the modification, so I have no idea if it made any difference at all. What I did was I took this little blade off and then sharpened it on the bench grinder, so the leading edge actually has a point to it, has an edge. It's a sharp edge as opposed to being completely flat and completely blunt like it came from the factory. And this thing just rips through weeds and small trees and all sorts of things with nary a slowdown. So I think my modification helped it quite a bit. But like I said, I didn't try it before I sharpened the leading edge of these blades, so I don't know if it made any difference at all. Just thought I'd show you. This is the door frame that I knocked up between the chicken run, the enclosed safe structure of a chicken run that's safe from predators and everything, and the shop, and this is where the big gate door is going to go. And the little door is going to go over there in the chicken run. There's some weird gap in the metal building where there's two frame rails that are real close to each other, so that seemed like a pretty good place to put the door that goes out into this fenced-in area. Now I'll show you the lastly thing. Since 2 of our chickens got picked off, I'm being quieter now. Since 2 of our chickens got picked off, including our favorite chicken, the one that would hop up on your shoulder and would come to its own name being called, we went out and got 4 more chickens. 4 little chickens. We got 2 Plymouth Blue Rocks, 1 Sapphire Olive Egger, which is the same breed as the chicken that got et, and we got 1 Salmon Favorole. We had never heard of these before, but this breed of chicken has 5 toes. Normally they have 4, if you don't know, and their toes are all feathered. And this one is cute, and they're all pullets. None of them are roosters. But also, instead of just getting chickens, well, I just spoiled the surprise there. We got 3 turkeys. And we got turkeys not to eat. We got turkeys because they're real friendly. This one is real nice. And as an added bonus, they're much bigger than chickens, so hopefully they'll scare away hawks, which with the new fencing situation is a new predator concern. So maybe big birds scare hawk, we don't know. We just wanted turkeys. So we got 3 of them and 4 new chicks. And we just got them a couple days ago, so they're still really young. The turkeys are obviously much older than the chickens, but the turkeys have so much more personality than the chickens. Recently we have some family members that have full-grown turkeys. They were raising as meat birds, but they're so friendly they would just follow you around. They would just follow you around. They would come to you. They're just like little big ugly dogs. That was a great description. But anyway, we got turkeys and 4 little chicks. One of them's falling asleep in there. And you're my favorite, aren't you? You're real calm. And the little salmon favor thinks it's a turkey too. When we get them all out to change their bedding, they run around on the floor. They run around on the floor, and this one likes to chase after the turkeys rather than sticking with the chickens. Kind of looks like a turkey. Did you poop on me? Yeah. Say that again? Did you say, I'm a tiny dinosaur? Is that what you said? Little puff head. This is the Polish crested I was talking about earlier. Very screamy. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've been working on making our chickens a bit safer. Safe enough that they won't be picked off in the middle of the yard in the middle of the day at the very least. They're still vulnerable to hawks because they're in a big open fence, and that fence isn't totally impervious to predators. I'm sure a bobcat, if it really wanted to, could get into that fence. But like I said, they're going to be locked up into the chicken run at night, and a bobcat or whatever it would be would have a hard time getting into that chicken run, even if they had some patience. So hopefully the chickens will be safer now. And then we added the rooster, and then we doubled the flock size with the new chicks and the turkeys and everything. So hopefully they're safer. Anyway, before I was working on chicken stuff, which, by the way, I have to say, thank you patrons, thank you my audience for allowing me to just drop whatever I'm doing and work on chicken things for a week. It's a huge, huge luxury to just be able to do stuff like that. But anyway, before I got distracted by chicken things, I was working on a little cart over there. I had just finished this when the second chicken got picked off, and we decided, okay, we need to build a fence now. Also, there was the threat of just incredible heat in the next few days, so I had to work on that fence very quickly. But anyway, this was what I was working on. This will be a short, underdone video in probably the next couple days. The whole thing's edited. I just need to add an outro. This is a cart that I made somewhat heavy-duty for my Wego over there, because that is the next project, and that was what I was slated to do before I get distracted by chickens, is drop the battery pack out of the Wego, and this cart is for the battery pack to sit on. I needed to have some sort of cart that was up off the ground on wheels and heavy duty enough to support the battery pack out of the Wego, because that's how you drop the battery pack out of the Wego. You put the Wego up on the left, and then you drop the battery pack out from underneath it, and that's what this cart's for. I don't know if I made that clear enough. I think I just explained that in 3 different ways. But anyway, I made this cart, and that's for the next project, which is going to be the Wego, and you can probably expect to see a very short underdone video, like 6 minutes, on underdone in the next couple of days. Then, like I said, we're going to be dropping the battery pack out of the Wego. I have all I've done on the battery pack since the last time we talked about it is disconnect the fuse and disconnect the BMS modules so the cells won't drain any further. I have done nothing else other than that. I pretty much expect the cells in the battery pack to be toast. So no rush really to get this battery pack out of here, but I am still curious. Maybe some of the cells will revive. There's 36 3.2 volts each lithium iron phosphate battery cells in here. So the total is supposed to be 115 volts, but the last time I read it, it was at 22 volts, so I expect this battery pack to be dead. But aside from salvaging the battery cells out of here, I also want to inspect above the battery pack, because if you remember from my Wego review, I did an undercarriage tour, and there was all sorts of heck jobbery around the battery pack where Wego cut out the Shuanghuan Noble frame to put a battery pack in there, so I expect there to be even more hack jobbery between the battery pack and the car that is currently being hidden by the battery pack. So once we get it out of there, all will be visible and all will be interesting. So I'm excited about that. And that's, like I said, going to be the next project. And then after that, I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do next, honestly, because I don't plan that far in advance. I might switch gears and go back to working on underdone, maybe doing some sort of wood project. Might need to build a lumber rack or add drawers to my table saw or any number of things that I could do in the wood shop. But for aging wheels, I think, no promises here, but I think the next thing I'm going to work on is this smart car. Get it back on the road. There's nothing wrong with it. I need to do a little bit of basic maintenance to it, like oil change, because I have never changed the oil in the life that I've owned this car, in the time that I've owned this car. But to be fair, I've owned it 3 years and only put like 100 miles on it. So it's not that big of a deal, but I think it would be nice to tackle that. And we'll have to get over the emissions inspection hump, but I'll talk about that when I make that video. And then I can probably get 1, maybe 2, maybe, if I really milk it, get 3 videos out of this smart car. And I'll probably just keep it, honestly. If I get it back on the road, if I get it properly licensed and insured and everything, I want to drive it around, especially since the Wego's dead. And I've been missing having a small runabout car. So that's in the future. I don't know if it'll be the next thing I work on for aging wheels, but it's in the future for sure. Then there's the bus, my forever ongoing project. Let's flip the light on in here. It's in there. I'm not going to go in there because it's stinking hot. It's stinking hot outside and it's just unbearable in there. That is not going to be something I work on very soon, but I would like to try to get that bus into this building where it's air conditioned. If I can do that, then oh my God, the progress that I could make. It's just stuck in there right now in dimly lit, hot as frig purgatory. But there's going to be a lot of work that needs to be done in order to even try to get it in here. There's a totaled Saab in front of this big door here, so I need to move that, and it currently does not have suspension attached to it right now, so that will be the biggest hurdle. And then after I get that done, well, I have to rearrange the rest of my shop to be able to drive a bus through this door. This door's never been opened, so that'll be another challenge. Anyway, when and if I get around to seeing if the bus will fit into this main shop area, I will make probably a series of daily videos out of that. It's not going to be one video. I'm going to milk it. No, I just want to be relaxed about it. Just make a series of unscripted casual videos about seeing if the bus will fit in here. And that, if after I do all that work, the bus may not be able to fit in here after all of that, because it's dimensionally, it will barely fit in here, and I don't know if I can maneuver it to fit in here. I've covered all this before, so I'll stop talking about it. But that is a potential future project. The Durango. Yes, I do still have this Durango. I bought it over a year ago now. I bought it for $500 if you didn't see that quick little video that I made announcing it. And since then, I made one video with it, which is why there's still masking tape and paintless spots on the side of it. And then I didn't touch it. The reason I didn't touch it is because I wasn't feeling especially creative to write a big fancy script for the destruction review of this car. But since then, it's had a lot of time to sit and I've had a lot of time to think. And I'm not entirely sure what to do with it now. My original plans are still kind of valid, but I have some concerns with them. Anyway, in the future, I'll make a quick unscripted and casual video asking you all what I should do with this thing. Voice my ideas of what to do with it, voice some concerns for those ideas, and then just generally poll you on what you think I should do with it. My main concern, honestly, is making the internet mad with this thing. But anyway, we'll get to that in the near future. For now, it will sit like it's been doing for the past months, several months. Yeah, so that's kind of it for ideas for future Aging Wheels videos. Yeah, I don't really have any big projects planned, aside from the bus, which I can't work on right now because it's stupid hot outside and in that building. But I don't have any big projects planned because mainly budgetary concerns. Any big projects that I line up in the future for Aging Wheels is going to involve buying a new car, and I don't really have the budget to do that right now. Not that I'm complaining. Not having the money to buy an 8th car is I think it's 8th, whatever, is a great problem to have. So it's no concern. I'm just telling you that's what's happening. And I'm fortunate enough that I have multiple interests and I have a second channel. So if I run out of content or ideas, or I have some sort of creativity burnout for Aging Wheels, I can just transition over to Underdone. And that's what I've been trying to do. Sort of flip back and forth. Ideally, what I've been trying to do is have 2 or 3 videos / projects on Aging Wheels and then do a big project for Underdone, but I don't know, I could just flip back and forth whenever I want to, and it's the best thing ever. So if I have creativity burnout on one channel, I can just flip over and work on the other channel, work on something for the other channel until the creativity comes back, or an idea comes back, or something happens. It's fantastic. Like last month, I worked on, well, I don't remember what I was working on before I did the table saw rebuild, but I did the big table saw rebuild, and that was a hugely successful video for Underdone, and that earned income. And then after I was done working with that, I was burned out on working with wood projects for a little bit, but that was fine because I had the Figaro lined up, so I could go back to Aging Wheels and work on the No, that's what I was doing. I worked on the Figaro video, the one that I was telling you about the Figaro, which, by the way, I'm very proud of. Then I went back to Underdone and did the table saw rebuild, and I was really into that until the project was done. Then I didn't want to work on wood projects for a while, so I flipped back and worked on the Figaro, and that's where I did the Figaro maintenance-y video, which I'm also very proud of, but not quite as proud of as the first Figaro video. Anyway, I can flip back and forth, and it's a great way that I see it as, a great way to prevent any sort of creative burnout. I have a great life right now. I can just do pretty much whatever I want to do out here in the shop on a daily basis, record it, make it video, and that is my living, and that's the best life I could imagine. I'm not getting rich off of this. Like I said, I don't really have enough money to buy another car for a project on Aging Wheels, but that is such a small thing to complain about. I'm surviving. I'm able to feed the family. I'm able to do things. I'm able to keep making this work, and that is pretty much all I could ask for right now. It's fantastic. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for supporting me. Thank you, patrons. Thank you, just regular viewers. Thank you, new viewers. This is a great life to have. I'm very happy to be where I am right now, and my family doesn't have to work. I have an unemployed wife, and I'm supporting her through YouTube. That's pretty great. I'm happy. Anyway, so I think that's what I'm going to do. The next project you're going to see is that little cart that I showed you. That'll be a quick Underdone video. It'll only be about 6 minutes long. Then after that, probably about a week, maybe more from now, you'll see me dropping the battery pack out of the WeGo, because that's the very next thing I'm going to work on after I finish working on the chicken fence. And then after that, I'm not sure what I'm going to work on. I might work on a lumber rack on Underdone. I might work on getting the smart car roadworthy. We'll see. I'll see you next time. I'll see you when that cart video comes out. Thank you for watching.